Elgamal crypto system is yet another algorithm for which uses public key crypto system, right? So something very similar to your Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. We also have the concept of primitive root, and we also have the concept of multiplication inverse. So majority of the components you will see here, which is very similar to our Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. Right. So there are two common or global public elements, which means both the entities share these values, and we call it as Q, which is a prime number. So a prime number is chosen. Obviously, the number should be bigger, a bigger prime number, and the alpha is calculated. Alpha, as you know, is the primitive root of Q. What is that primitive root of Q? If you take alpha power q, then q minus 1, q plus 1, q plus 2 up to alpha power 0, then alpha power 1 mod q, then 2 mod q up to alpha power q minus 1 mod q. If you calculate, you will have all the values ranging from 1 to q minus 1 in some permutation, right? So that is what your primitive root of a specific value called q here. So alpha is taken. So q and alpha, they are not new to us. These are the two values for global public elements. All right. So parallelly, we'll also have some sample calculations as well for our understanding. All right. So in our example, which are going to learn, q is chosen as 19. 19 is a prime number, and it has got primitive roots 2, 3, 10, 13, 14, 15. These all are the primitive roots of q of 19, and we this I have taken from your textbook, right? So we choose the alpha value as 10. So we have got q as 19, and alpha value is 10, right? So these are the two global public elements. So the two people, Alice and the person called Bob, they both are going to share these two values. It's common to them. Moving on. The first step is the key generation by Alice. Where is Alice? Alice is here, right? And Bob is here. So this is Alice, and Bob is here. All right. So they have some message to be exchanged. All right. So what happens? The person is involved in the key generation in our example. All right. So what does he do? He chooses a value called x is less than q. Very similar to Diffie-Hellman, if you remember that. So he selects a random value. Only condition is it should be less than q minus 1. All right. And he calculates ya. Don't you think this is also similar? Alpha power xa mod q. So far, this is probably the ditto of your Diffie-Hellman. So he calculates OA, which is equal to alpha power xa mod q. And then now the public key is q alpha ya. These are the three values which are taken as public key. All right. So q value is 19, and alpha value is 10. And what's the value of qa? Probably we can take an example here. So here, okay, Alice in our example, he chooses xe as 5. Okay, so 5 is less than 19, 18. All right, so he chooses 5, which is xa. So xa is 5. All right, and he calculates oa. Oa is alpha power xa mod q. Alpha is 10. 5 alpha power xa mod q. All right, so mod 19 is 3, and ya is calculated as 3. All right, now keys, okay, his public key now is q alpha ya. This combination you should remember. So public key is q alpha and ya. In our Diffie-Hellman key exchange, if you remember, what's the public key? You should remember it was only YA. Then it was exchanged to find the value of A. If you recall well, if you recall our past algorithm, the public key was the value is chosen as well as n. All right. So the value n was p multiplied by q, if you remember, right? So here there are three values. Triple three values are taken for our public key. So q is 10, alpha, 19, alpha is 10, and YA is calculated. So this is Alice public key. Okay, so Alex, he shares the public key with Bob. All right. So what do you expect to happen? Bob has to use this public key for encryption. Please remember the story correctly. Bob uses this public key for encryption, and then after the encryption, the ciphertext will be given to Alice for decryption. All right. So Bob and Alice have shared the public key, and Bob does the encryption to find the ciphertext that is exchanged. All right. So then what happened? Alice has to use XA, that is his for decryption. So what is XA? His private key is 5. So these are the things you should remember. So Alice public key here is 1910 which is Q alpha and OA, and his private key is 5. All right. So what is expected to happen now? Now Bob has to use Alice public key for encryption. Yeah. So what Bob is doing, he is encrypting using Alice public key. How? The public key is shared, but the private key is kept with Alice. All right. So the plain text which is chosen for the example is, I'll keep it somewhere here. Okay. So the plain text which is chosen for example is M, denoted by M, and we take 17. All right. So M is 17, nothing critical here. And what Bob is doing, the other person, okay, who is doing the encryption, what he chooses a random integer which is denoted by small k. Only condition is it must be less than q. Key is 19. All right. So he chooses k as 6. This is not a primitive number. It's a random integer. It could be 7 or 8 or anything, but it should be less than 19. In our example, we choose it as 6. So far, this is easy. This is easy. All right. Then he calculates a value called capital K. Okay. How does he calculate? Very simple. Y of YA power K mod Q. What is YA? Which comes as part of public key. Where is it? It's here. YA is 3. Okay. What is small k? Which you have just chosen. What is 6? And then mod q. Q value is known to us, which is 19. So 3 power 6 mod 19, the 729 mod 19. So capital K value is calculated as 7. Okay. Moving on, he does two calculations. So far, it's simple calculation, right? Now he calculates two things. One is C1, C2. So there are two ciphertexts are calculated in your LML crypto system. Okay. One is alpha power k mod q. This is straightforward. What is alpha power k mod q? Alpha is known to us, it is 10. K is chosen as 6, 19. Q is 19. So C1 is calculated as 5. Sorry, 11. This also straightforward. Now next comes is our calculation of C2. Okay, so what is K? We have calculated, which is 7. What is M? Your original message M, which is 17. So 7 multiplied by 17 mod Q. So 7 multiplied by 17 mod 19 will give you C2 as 5. Okay, now we have got two values, two ciphertext values. C1 is 11 and C2 is 5. So 11 and 5 are C1 and C2. This is the ciphertext which is going from Bob to Alice, which means after this encryption, this ciphertext, the combination of C1 and C2 are sent from Bob to Alice. All right. Now Alice has got a ciphertext which is encrypted by his public key. According to the public process, this ciphertext can be decrypted by using the private key of Alice. What is the private key of Alice? Which is X, which is 5. Let's see that demonstration as well. Now Alice has got Alice has got two things, so C1 and C2, so two values, ciphertext values. Now he calculates the value called K, capital K, and then he calculates the plain text. Okay, so what is the calculation of capital K? It is C1 power xk q. C1 power xk. What is C1? 11. What is xa? His private key 5. So 11 power 19, you will get k value as 7. Again, this is straightforward. Okay, these are all straight calculation which you have done earlier. The final step you should understand. Now you have got the plain text formula. plain text can be calculated. Plain text M can be calculated by C2. What is C2? The values you got, right? 11 and 5. Am I right? Yeah. 11 and 5. This is C1. This is C2. You got as the part of text. So C2 is 5. 5. Okay. And then K inverse mod Q. Now, this is something you should remember when we were doing the RS algorithm. In key generation, we have got this kind of multiplication inverse. If you recall, we had a formula ED is equal to 1 mod Q, right? This is not part of LGML, this is part of RS. If you know the value of I'm sorry, E, then how will you calculate the value of D? So we used to say D equal multiplication inverse then mod q. In case you want to know E, you will have D inverse mod q. All right, very similar to that. Now, what are you supposed to do? C2 is known to us. Now we have to find out what is K inverse mod q. Okay, so K inverse mod q. This is almost similar to. So if I should take like this, it should be 1 equal to D inverse mod q, or it should be D equal to 1 mod q. So in our example, why is not writing? Oh, it's coming. Okay, so A is equal to 1 mod q. This is how we should calculate the value of this value. All right. So, so how can we do that? What's the value of K? It is 7. So you should have 7 equal to Q. Very simple, sir. Q value is 19. Yeah, Q value is 19. Now you should find out what should be multiplied with 1 so that the modulus 19 will be 1. So if you take 1, you will have 7 mod 19, answer will be 7. If you take 2, 2 times 7, it is 14 mod 19, you'll have 14. 3, 21 mod 19 will be 2. Then you take 4, 28 mod 19 will be 9. And you will have the value of 11, which means 11 is equal to 1 mod 19. 77 equal to 1 mod 19. You can verify this. 77 mod 19, you will have, yes, 77 mod 19, 19 plus 19, 38 plus 38, 38 plus 38, 76. Yeah, so you will have 1 mod 19. Okay, so if you take 77 mod 19, you will have the value as 1. So this is called the multiplication. This is the only place you may try, but we have experience of working with our RC algorithm. So this should not be a difficult step for you. All right, so this is how we calculate this one. Once you calculate inverse mod q, you will have the value of 11. And after that, it's a simple multiplication. Okay, C2 is 5. This is 11. So 5 times 11, 55 mod q. Mod 19, you have the value as 17. That is the original value of M. So M is chosen as 17. Now, Alice was able to decrypt the ciphertext which was given by Bob using his private key. All right. So steps are very simple, but how it works, what are the complexities involved? Yes, it is not within the scope of our textbook, as I have already told, but we should know how it works at least, so that it will help you to develop further on that. So this LGML crypto system and RSA algorithm, Diffie-Hellman key exchange, are something like a mixture. No, it's all mixed up. You should not confuse yourself. This is are similar to your Diffie-Hellman, where you got two values. I'm just going to quickly recall what we have learned so far. So the global public elements, there are two values, q and alpha. Q is the prime number, alpha is the primitive root of q, and it also should be less than q. All right. So in our example, we have chosen 19 and the primitive root of 19 alpha as 10. And then key generation by Alice. So Alice generates, so the same thing can be, you can develop for Bob also. Bob develops the key generation. He exchanges the public key, then he is having the private key to decrypt. This is how the public key crypto system functions. Okay, so he chooses the private key X that is maintained as private, which is part of your private key till the end. He calculates the public key by one of the components of the public key, to be precise. So A is alpha XA mod q, it's known as. So the combination of our prime number, the primitive root of that prime number chosen, and the calculated value of YA is the public key of Alice. So that is shared across Bob, and he maintains XA value, which is the private key, with himself. Okay. Then what should happen? What's happening? The key goes to the person called Bob. Now he has received the public key of Bob. He can encrypt it. So what's the advantage of this encryption? This can be decrypted only by Alice because he's the only person who holds the private key. Okay. So this helps you for confidentiality. All right. Now, the plain text chosen for our example is 17, which is M, and he chooses a random integer small, which is less than q, and then he calculates k by y of ya over k mod q, simple step, and two ciphertexts are calculated in LGAML, unlike our RSA or Diffie-Hellman, not Diffie-Hellman, RSA. So in the C1 and C2, is alpha power k mod q, C2 is km mod q, k is m is your original message, C2 contains the original, the content of the juice or essence of the message here. So C1 and C2, these two numbers are exchanged across to Bob, sorry, to Alice, because it comes in the reverse. Okay. Now Alice has to decrypt it using his private key. Okay. So the private key is XA. XA of C1 and C2 has to happen. Yeah. So he decrypts it. These are the two values which are coming. Then he calculates the capital K by taking the C1 power XA mod Q, and then original plain text is by multiplying the C2, and the multiplicative inverse of K1 is K is calculated. I have just explained to you how this calculation is done, mod Q, and then you will be able to retrieve original message copy. The same thing but different. So I was just reading the Rosan textbook, quite interesting. The same thing, nothing new, but in a different way. Here, Bob does the key generation. So he chooses a key. So don't be confused with this and that. The notations are different, but the concept is same. So he chooses the he finds out the primitive root. He also chooses a value called D, and he sends these three values. So E1, E2, and P. In our case, it was Q, alpha, and Y. Okay, so this is how the calculation of the public key value, right? And then it's going, so these three values are coming. Now Alice is doing encryption. In our example, we saw Bob was doing encryption. Okay, doing encryption, see he finds out two values, C1 and C2. You got the formula. These two are coming to Bob for decryption. Bob already has got his private key, and by using that he is able to decrypt, but the steps are combined here to represent it. So this is the diagrammatic representation of what we have learned so far in LGAML system. All right. So that's all from me for today, and I stop sharing.